put ourselves in a place where we're utilizing our focus, our knowledge, and our discipline, putting ourselves in a place where the mentality starts to open up, where the ability inside of who we are. We're going to go ahead and sit that for 60 minutes. So, what is the things that you do inside of yourself? What is the ability inside of who you are? What is inside of your mentality? What is inside of your daily focus? You know, like, where do you start to sit down, and what does it take for you to be who you are? And I look at this on a daily. I look at the challenges that we're facing off against. I look at the abilities that we have inside of ourselves to believe in who we are. And how do we start to do that? You know, how do we start to believe when we know we're not qualified? You know, it's inside of ourselves where we already know that we are. And so that's the first thing I want you to recognize. I want you to recognize that the challenges that you go through, they're there for you to embrace. They're there for you to overcome. They're there for you to start to believe in yourself and in your capability and your ability to overcome your challenges. And when you give yourself the time to sit back and look at all the things that you've done, all the things that you've been through, it's inside of your mentality that it starts to open up. And when are we doing that? When are we giving that place time? When are we giving ourselves the ability to grow and to manifest who we are on the inside? And it's like on a daily basis, we're looking for that. It's almost like we're seeking out a place inside of ourselves for approval that already exists. And so when we're facing off against challenges, when we're truly facing off against the opportunity to overcome challenges, it's inside of that place that we start to grow. Yeah, it's in our belief in ourselves. It's in our mentality and our ability to overcome challenges that we start to recognize that focusing into positivity matters. That what you put your mind to, you can achieve. And it's a really amazing thing when you see other people succeeding for themselves. You see, when we are uplifting other people, when we're putting ourselves in a place where we're so focused that we're able to ask this question on a daily: is what I'm doing today, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. And so I see this happening daily. I see the ability inside, and I see the barriers being crossed and the ability to overcome challenges happening within us all. And including during this current time, and you know, like during this current stage, a lot of people are seeking out that. When do we start seeking out what's inside? When do we give ourselves permission to be who we are? When do we truly sit down at a level where we're able to overcome challenges and we're able to believe in ourselves? See, a lot of people stop themselves before they even give themselves that kind of a capability. The questions we should be asking is why? Why do people stop themselves right before they're able to continue, where they're able to believe in themselves, where their ability inside of who they are starts to open up? And it comes from a mentality. It comes from an ability inside of yourself to focus to the point where you have what it takes, where what you're going through isn't greater than you are. And so I want to visit that a little bit. I want to visit that place where a lot of us don't feel like we are qualified to be who we are. You see, when we're in a place where challenges are facing off against us, when we feel like we're in dark tunnels in life, when things are not bright in front of us, what is it that makes the person who succeeds move forward? Okay, what is it that puts you in a place where you're so fed up with not being able to succeed that you start to succeed? You see, a lot of people, they reach that place, and the people who continue even when others would say it's not possible, they succeed. You see, it's not when you're qualified that the universe yields it. It's when you're working at it. It's when you're putting in the time. It's when you're, you know, I think of one friend who's actually inside of a kitchen and is a very dear friend in my heart. And I look at how they didn't feel they were qualified. But there's an opportunity, but they also got to put themselves in a place where the mentality starts to open up, okay? And we're always learning. We're always growing. We're always in a place where we could focus into that ability. We could focus into that place inside of ourselves where we can learn, okay? And a part of growing and a part of focusing is recognizing that it takes learning. All right, that's an amazing part about growth is that as you're growing, the universe starts to test you. It starts to see if it's possible for you to do it. If you could pick yourself up to that position. If you could elevate your mentality, if you could elevate your ability to be who you are on the inside. And it's when we're doing that that the positions start to open up. You know, a lot of people face off against, like one of the things that I've started to learn is that to enjoy every position that we have, okay? To enjoy the ability to teach meditation, to enjoy the ability to focus to the point where you have the challenges and you have the ability to overcome your challenges. And when we give ourselves that place, when we give ourselves that ability inside of who we are, you see, I'm sitting here looking at a reference form for a person who has been working in a position where, people didn't see their value, okay? Had to take care of a whole entire kitchen by themselves. And I'm looking at a reference form for a person who focused to the place where they're starting to achieve their dreams, okay? Where people are starting to see their value. And it's amazing to recognize that it's worth it, okay? And I've sat down and I see them growing. I see their ability to manifest, to focus to the point where utilizing what we have inside matters, okay? And as I sit here on a daily, as I grind on a daily basis, as I put in the ability for this person to see that it's worth it, and I see the growth inside, I see the ability. It makes me really a joy with focus, okay? The foundation of focus comes from the one who's willing to put in the work. And the one who's willing to put in a place where we're utilizing what we have, okay? When you're utilizing your mentality, when you're utilizing your ability. And when we're truly doing that, when we're truly putting ourselves in a place where we give ourselves the ability to grow, okay, then we're put to the test to see if it's worth it, okay? And what happens when you're grinding on your own and you're asked if you have the qualifications? Do you already know you do? You just don't know how to say it. Okay, how do you focus to that point where you start to utilize that part inside of yourself? How do you start to put yourself in a place where you start to vibrate with that kind of ability inside of who they are? And it's when we give ourselves the ability to see how focused motivates other people, okay? It's when what you're focused into, you can achieve. And when we're focusing on that level, it's not that difficulty won't come. It's not that tests won't come. At a certain point, we have to recognize to the universe to say, yes, I am qualified. Yes, I have the ability to use my mentality. Yes, I have gone through the challenges that I have. To be nothing less, nothing more than yourselves, my friends. And I'm sitting here filling out a form, a reference form for a student who is succeeding in their own way, okay? And I'm looking at how they become a real joy in this vibration, you see, and believing in themselves and believing in their ability and believing in their focus. You know, when I see students succeed, when I see the people that I spend and that I work and that I invest energy into moving forward in a direction that's positive, moving forward in a direction that's bringing them closer to themselves, then the opportunities in the universe start to yield. You hearing what I'm saying? It starts to open up. It starts to manifest, and the belief in oneself starts to happen. And so, are we focusing to that level? Are we putting ourselves in that kind of a place? And are we doing this on a daily? See what I'm saying? How focused are you, my friends? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that, you can do with the gifts that you have, with the abilities that you have, with the things that you enjoy? You see what I'm saying? How can you use your skills inside of yourself? How can you use your abilities? How can you put yourself in a place where other people feel really good to put down the reference for you? And it's inside of ourselves that growth starts to happen. You see what I'm saying? It's when you're focusing that the universe yields to your ability. Okay? It's when you believe that you can focus to that point where you can truly sit down and focus on what brings you closer to being yourself, that it starts to open up. And I look at this daily grind that we're all on, and I look at these messages, and I look at this ability, and I see this message in front of me saying that a person that came to me to learn, pick themselves up, put themselves in a place where they had the ability to even achieve an assistant manager position, okay? All right? And I'm looking at the mentality. I recognize this person was in a place where, they had to do all positions in a kitchen. The reason why challenges come, my friends, is so that you can overcome them. So that not only can you overcome them, but you can also inspire other people. You can become a reflection of motivation. You see what I'm saying? It's inside of you to achieve. Okay, it's inside of you to uplift other people. It's inside of you to be who you are. And I'm looking at this, and it's inside of our mentalities that it takes shape. When it's on the outside, it's coming from how you believe in yourself. Okay, it comes from your ability to sit down inside of who you are. And when we start to achieve that, okay, when we actually give ourselves the ability, when we do need mental clarity to open up to what we already do, when the universe starts to yield that kind of a place, it starts to yield that kind of a mentality. It's inside of ourselves that at a certain point we got to believe in who we are, okay? And when we pick ourselves up with that, when we truly pick ourselves up inside of that ability, it's when we're willing to be ourselves that we start to shine, my friends. So, what is it that you focus into? What is it that you enjoy? See, when you start to seek out that kind of stuff, the universe is going to test you. You know, I think of my father who said, you better go search out and find a job. Because doing this motivation thing and doing these videos and driving is what I am. Do you understand what I'm saying, my friends? It's the working with people. It's the getting in front of the camera on a daily basis. It's the focusing to the point. I might be down right now, okay? I might be getting my butt kicked today. But let me tell you, okay? When things are up and going, you're going to see what it takes inside of yourself to sit down inside of who you are. And to grind on that level. And I'm waiting patiently. Because I was out driving, okay? I've been doing, food delivery and carrying people for 5 years, okay? My vehicle is in the shop getting repaired right now. And so I'm sitting here focusing on how am I going to get back out there? And focusing on the ability to put one in a mentality to overcome challenge. Okay, and it might be that if I could share with you my own challenges, that you might be able to see those type of things for yourself, that you might have a reference one day to see how people that you help out, okay, can succeed in their own life and their own being. And when we're doing that, then we become a motivation for other people. You hearing what I'm saying? When you're focusing to that level, the art comes out, the music, the singing, the speaking comes out. It's when the challenges come and you're still willing to continue, even when things feel like they're failing, that you truly start to succeed. And you see, I'll be grinding at this thing. I'll be working on this thing no matter the challenges that I face off against. The reason why is because I know it's something that I truly enjoy. It's something that I know inside is freeing. It's liberating to know that when I help other people, that I get things like this on my desk. A reference. Okay? A reference that the people that you uplift, they would ask for your ability to what you think about them. You see what I'm saying? So how is it that the universe works for you? Do you have the position where you might be in a company and you might be facing off against things today? Do you have the ability inside of who you are to overcome your challenges, to put yourself in a place where you can be that person inside of who you are? And I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing it molding, I'm seeing it shape, and I'm seeing the focus inside, overcoming the challenges. I'm seeing the ability inside of each of us to believe in who we are, to believe in our ability, to believe in our mentality. And it's inside of our being that our vibration starts to say yes. A long time ago, about 2.5 years ago, I listened to a speech. And inside the speech it said, don't wait for the time for everyone to say is the right time for you. Start and give yourself permission. Give yourself the permission to do that before you even feel like it's possible. When we wait for that time and we don't take the time inside of ourselves, inside of our mentalities, inside of our abilities to believe in ourselves, then we could be waiting forever. Okay, so if you want that top sales position, if you want that reference on other people's desks. If you want that ability inside of yourself, you got to focus to that point. You got to put yourself in a place where you start to believe in you. You got to believe in your abilities. You got to believe in your mentality. You got to believe in your being, that it's worth it, that you're worth it. And so don't allow them to say you're ready. You say, I'm ready. I have these abilities. I can utilize what I have. I can believe in myself. I can believe in my mentality. And it's inside of ourselves that starts to truly open up. It's inside of our being that we start to focus to that. In that kind of a place, are you focus